You are sitting at your kitchen table with a laptop open and a calculator next to it. You found the house, 4 bedrooms, good neighborhood, 2-car garage, the kind of house you described when someone asked you 5 years ago what your future looked like. The listing price is $499,000. You stare at it. Then you open the mortgage calculator. You type in the numbers, and something happens that no one warned you about. The monthly payment loads on screen. $3,400 every single month, before property taxes, before insurance, before the water heater that will break in year 3. You close the laptop, you sit back in the chair, and for the first time, you start to wonder not whether you want that house, but whether anyone actually can afford it. Because here is the truth that the real estate industry, the mortgage industry, and every home renovation show on television does not want to say out loud. In 2026, a $500,000 house is not a luxury, it is the median. And the math, the real math, is brutal. My name is Amichert, where we break down the money decisions that actually shape your life, without the sugarcoating. If you have ever looked at a home listing and felt something between confusion and quiet panic, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
Most people think buying a $500,000 house means paying $500,000. It does not. Here is what it actually means. First, the down payment. The standard recommendation is 20% down. On a $500,000 house, that's $100,000. Cash before you touch a single mortgage payment. Now, most Americans do not have $100,000 sitting in a savings account. According to the Federal Reserve's 2024 survey of consumer finances, the median American household has less than $8,000 in savings. So already, before the conversation even starts, most people are disqualified, not by ambition, but by the gap between what the system requires and what the average paycheck builds. But let's say you have the $100,000. Let's say you saved it, drove the old car, skipped the vacations, packed lunch for 4 years. You put $100,000 down. The remaining $400,000 is your mortgage. At today's average 30-year fixed rate, which as of early 2026 sits around 6.8%, your monthly mortgage payment on that $400,000 is approximately $2,600. But that is not your actual monthly cost, because here is what most first-time buyers do not realize. The mortgage payment is just the beginning. Add property taxes. In most American states, property taxes on a $500,000 home run between $400 and $700 per month. Add homeowner's insurance. Average cost, another $150 to $200 per month. Add PMI if you put down less than 20%. That's an additional $100 to $200 monthly. Add maintenance. Financial advisors consistently recommend budgeting 1% of your home's value per year for maintenance. On a $500,000 home, that's $5,000 per year, or roughly $416 per month. Now let's add it all up. Mortgage, $2,600. Property taxes, $550 average. Insurance, $175. Maintenance reserve, $416. Total monthly cost of owning a $500,000 home is approximately $37,741 per month, almost $45,000 per year, just to own the house, before groceries, before utilities, before the life you were trying to build inside it.
Here is where the math gets uncomfortable. Most mortgage lenders use what is called the 28% rule. It says your monthly housing costs should not exceed 28% of your gross monthly income. If your total housing cost is $3,741 per month, and that represents 28% of your income, you need a gross monthly income of approximately $13,360. That is $160,000 per year, before taxes. Let that number sit for a second. $160,000 per year. The median household income in the United States in 2026 is approximately $80,000. That means the median American household earns exactly half of what is recommended to comfortably afford the median-priced home. Not a luxury home, not a mansion in Beverly Hills, the median home, the average house, the one in the middle of the list. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the gap between what Americans earn and what American homes cost has never been wider in modern history. In 1980, the median home price was roughly 3 times the median household income. In 2000, it was 4 times. In 2026, it is more than 6 times. The same house relative to income costs twice as much to buy as it did 45 years ago. This is not a housing market problem. This is a generational wealth transfer in slow motion. So who is actually buying these houses? Because someone is. Inventory moves, listings close, sold signs go up. Here is what the data actually shows. Type 1, the dual income household. 2 incomes, combined $130,000 to $180,000 per year. This is the most common $500,000 buyer in America today. 2 people, 2 careers, 2 paychecks, 1 mortgage. Neither income alone would qualify. Together, they barely do. And here is the part nobody talks about at the closing table. When you buy a $500,000 home on 2 incomes, you're not just buying a house. You're buying a financial arrangement that requires both people to keep working every month for the next 30 years. 1 job loss, 1 health crisis, 1 separation, and the math that barely worked starts to come apart. Type 2, the equity buyer, someone who already owns a home. They bought in 2016 for $280,000. The house is now worth $480,000. They sell, they walk away with $180,000 in equity. That equity becomes the down payment on the next house. This buyer does not need to save $100,000. They already have it, locked inside the first house. This is why the housing market keeps moving even when rates are high. Existing homeowners are trading equity like currency. First-time buyers, the ones starting from zero, are watching from the outside. Type 3, the stretcher. This is the most dangerous buyer in the room, and it's the most common one. The stretcher earns $90,000 per year. They do not have 20% down. They put 5% down, $25,000, and accept private mortgage insurance on top. Their debt-to-income ratio is at the edge of what the lender will approve. The bank says yes. The bank is not trying to protect them. The bank is trying to close the loan. The stretcher moves in. The first year is fine. The second year, the water heater breaks, $1,200. The third year, the roof needs repairs, $8,000. The fourth year, one partner's hours get cut. The payment that was manageable becomes the thing they think about every night before they fall asleep. The stretcher did not buy a home. The stretcher bought a mortgage with a house attached to it. And the difference between those two things is everything. Here's something that does not get said enough. The people who are most harmed by today's housing market are not the people who buy. They are the people who cannot. Because renting is not free either. The national average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the United States in 2026 is approximately $1,800 per month. In major cities, New York, San Francisco, Miami, Austin, Denver, that number is closer to $2,800 to $3,500. So the choice millions of Americans face is not, should I rent or buy? The choice is, should I pay $1,800 a month to build zero equity or $3,741 a month to own something? Both options are expensive. Only one of them builds wealth. And the cruelest part of this system is the timing. The best time to buy a home is when prices are low and rates are low. That window, 2012 to 2021, is closed. The people who bought during that window are now equity millionaires, sitting on appreciation they did not earn through effort. They earned it through timing. And timing is not a skill, it is luck. Which means the generation entering the housing market in 2026 is not less capable than the generation that bought in 2015. They are just later, and in real estate, later is expensive. So what do you actually do with this information? Because this video is not about making you feel hopeless. It is about making you think clearly, because clear thinking is the only thing that separates a good financial decision from an expensive one. Here's what the math actually tells us. Step 1. Stop using the bank's approval as the measure of what you can afford. The bank will approve you for more than you should borrow. That is not an accident. The bank makes money on every dollar you borrow. Their incentive is not your financial comfort. Their incentive is a closed loan. Use the 28% rule yourself before you ever talk to a lender. Calculate the true monthly cost, including taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Make sure that number is 28% or less of your gross monthly income. If it is not, the house is not affordable for you yet, regardless of what the approval letter says. Step 2. The down payment is not optional. It is protection. Every percentage point below 20% down costs you in 3 directions simultaneously. PMI on top of your payment, a higher interest rate because you are a higher risk, and negative equity exposure if the market drops even slightly. The $100,000 down payment feels like a barrier. It's actually a shield. Step 3. If you cannot yet afford to buy, invest the difference. If renting costs you $1,800 a month and owning would cost you $3,741, that $1,941 difference has a job. Invest it every month consistently. At historical market returns of 8% annually, $1,941 invested monthly for 5 years becomes approximately $142,000. That is your down payment, built not through deprivation, but through redirection. The people who win in this housing market are not the ones who buy fastest. They're the ones who build the strongest financial position before they buy. Here's the truth most people eventually learn, usually after an expensive mistake. A house is not an investment. A house is a place to live. The investment is the financial position you build before you buy it. The $500,000 house is not the dream. The dream is being able to afford the $500,000 house without it owning you. Without the 3 a.m. math, without the silent calculation running in the back of your head every time something breaks, without needing 2 incomes, 2 jobs, and 2 people who never lose their paychecks simultaneously for the next 3 decades. The math in 2026 is brutal, but math is not destiny. It is information. And the people who use it clearly, who build before they buy, who protect before they stretch, who invest the gap while they wait, those are the people who eventually sit in the kitchen of a house they actually own, not a house that owns them. If this video helped you see the real numbers behind home ownership in 2026, hit the subscribe button. And I want to ask you something. Where are you right now? Are you saving toward a first home, already stretched in one, or waiting on the sidelines doing the math? Tell me in the comments, because that answer is going to shape what we cover next.